Hello, this is Sean with SW Inspections. Today we're going to be going over how to measure a roof. When we do wind mitigation in Florida, there's a question on the report that asks the shape of the roof, whether or not it's hip, flat, or other. Depending on your insurance situation, you may end up saving money if it is one of the three. Most often we're looking for hip roof, so we measure the roof, and I'm going to show you how to do that real quick. It's fairly simple. We're going to open up a program called Google Earth. And this is a free program that you can use, earth.google.com. And we're going to be using a pavilion that's just right next to my house so that we can do a quick demonstration for you. So you simply type in your address, whatever that is, it'll take you to your house. When you get there, you're going to use the mouse wheel to zoom in. And this is an interesting program. It uses the satellite view to take pictures and create an orthomosaic map. So if you use the mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out, but if you hold the mouse wheel, you can rotate, and then you can also create a 3D image, which is really nice. So we want to line up our image here of this nice pavilion, and we're going to use the tool right here, which is the measure, and then we're simply going to measure the perimeter of the building. Now it doesn't have to be perfect, you want to get it pretty close, but it's going to give you a very good estimate of what the size of it is, and there we go. So now we know that this one is roughly 244 in perimeter, and it's roughly 3,000 square feet under the roof. So this one would be considered a hip roof. If we were filling out the form, non-hip features would be 0, and the perimeter would be roughly 245 feet. So this, if you were insuring this building, you would get a discount on your homeowner's insurance because of the shape of the roof. Now the question is why? The shape of this roof holds up better to wind events, so hurricane, tornado, than a flat roof system or ones with gables. So that's why we measure it, to maximize the discount on your homeowner's insurance. So let's look at something a little bit different. So if we want to go measure a different building, we can just exit out of that and we can bring it out. And I saw this one earlier, so I thought it would be a good choice. So we're going to measure this one right here. So again, if we use the middle mouse button, we can take a look at this building. So here's a good example of a non-hip feature. So all of this is hip, it all slopes downwards, but right here we've got a gable. So what we're going to do is we're going to measure this, and we're going to see if it applies for the hip roof credit, because you have to have less than 10% non-hip features. And that's just some simple math. So let's set this up to do our measurement. So first we're going to measure the non-hip features. So we want to go from the gable end to the gable end, 26 feet. And now we want to measure the entire perimeter. I like to start somewhere kind of open when you do your first point. I wouldn't suggest starting in like a corner like over here, because it can get kind of tricky. Anyway, you start over here. So we start here, and again, it doesn't have to be super accurate. You can judge where you are here through the trees. And there we go. Let's see what this one comes out at. 264 feet. So if we have 26 feet of non-hip features and 264 feet total perimeter, 26 is less than 10% of 264 feet. Right there. It's like 9.8, 9.9% of the total perimeter. So this one is close, but it applies for the hip roof credit given accurate measurements. And since this one is so close, in the field we could use measuring tools or wheels or other digital devices to make sure that we get a super accurate reading. Let's try one more. That's the same design. This one is a little bit different, so maybe let's try this one to see what we've got here. So on this one we've got two gables on the front of the house, and then the back of the house is all hip. So let's see what this one measures out to. The first gable starts right there, ends there, but then this one continues to here. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here and end here because it's linear feet. So let's get this lined up. So we're going to start where it starts the gable and then come to the end of the gable, which is roughly right there. So we're at 30 feet. So now we're going to go ahead and do the same thing again, measuring the entire perimeter. So you can see here we've got part of it overhanging. So we're going to measure the perimeter, not inside, but the perimeter. And it's the same deal. So we have 259 feet. So if we have 30 feet of gable and 259 feet of total perimeter, this one does not qualify for a HIP roof credit because it's above 10%. And it's that simple. It's either below 10% or it's above 10%, or it's just not a HIP at all. So if we have a commercial building with a flat roof system or an apartment complex or a condo complex, the flat roof system is different, so that's a different category. And then this one that we just did would be considered other. So it's not HIP, it's not flat, it's an other roof system, which does not get a discount on your homeowner's insurance. So if you're a homeowner and you're getting insurance inspections done by me or somebody else, this is a quick way to either double check me or make sure that you're getting the HIP roof credit if you feel like you deserve it and you didn't get it. If you're an insurance agent, this is a quick way to double check inspectors' work. Make sure that we're giving you accurate information, because you don't want to submit documentation to an underwriter or an insurance company that is false. It ends up getting kicked back, and then you know how that is. Back and forth is a whole quagmire. And if you're a real estate agent, you could use this tool to sell this house as, hey, a HIP roof credit applies to this home, so it's a discount on the homeowner's insurance. How much of a discount? That depends on what kind of insurance you're getting, where you live, what type of home it is, and that's a question for your insurance agent. So hopefully this helped. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to reach out, and have a great day.